Fuck it, we're doing it live.
We
Hello
out here.
and welcome to the first episode and the second recording session of this podcast because I'm a fucking moron and can't figure out computer stuff.
You
But
done
my name
goofed,
is
son.
pardon?
You done goofed.
I did.
Big
I
time.
really fucked this one up. My name is Crusty X Lovin or Carson, and I have been playing Destiny for 7 years since release of the game. Of D1, I guess. And I thrive and I live for end game content. So that is day one raiding, master mode raids, and grandmasters. I am a teacher in real life, and I would like to educate the Destiny community as much as possible and help all the homies in anything that they do or need to get done. Yeah, that's who I am. That's what I do. That's why I'm very passionate about this game, and I wanna share my thoughts and opinions on the happenings around the community. I guess that's what I'm here for.
All right. Very honorable. Uh, my name is Croissant or Pooba. Um, you can call me Zach. I have been playing Destiny since Destiny 2. I was there day one launch. I played through year one and then took a little bit of a hiatus. 4 years later, decided to come back. Um, Obviously, I missed out on a lot of content, and I think that this podcast is going to be the perfect opportunity for me to kind of force myself to make up for lost time. Um, and at the same time, I'm also pretty passionate about that endgame content. Obviously, there's a lot that I wasn't able to take part in, um, but we are out here now and learning about the nitty gritty details. And what better way to do that than to throw yourself into the TWAB?
Force yourself to read the TWAB every week. That is the way to do it.
Hell yeah.
Um, we did talk about this. Obviously, if it wasn't clear enough, this is the second time having to record episode 1. And I had never read a TWAB all the way through before this, and so for me this is new going through and all of the lingo that they use in a TWAB. Yeah, if you don't know or you're not aware, because why would you be, it's episode 1. This is being released audio only on Spotify, and it is also being released with the video that goes along with this on YouTube. Now the video is just Pooba and I running through strikes endlessly or other activities with guns relating to the TWAB, or just if there's nothing relating to the TWAB, we just kind of shoot the shit with each other while we play the game and talk. So you can see kind of what we're doing as we talk if you're on YouTube. If not, sucks to suck, I guess. Spotify's a great place, but you don't get to watch us dominate this game, dominate all these Vex goblins, you know what I'm saying? So let's just, I don't know, honestly, let's get right into the information. My headset is acting up, so let me just fix that for a second. Okay, there we go. Should be good. This week at Bungie, this TWAB is 11/11/2021, and they kick it off with a new emblem that is available to all players. It is the Be True emblem, and it is a trans lifeline support emblem. Bungie does this all the time. I have picked it up. I don't know if Pooba has, but if you are looking for it, the code for it is ML3 FD4 and D9 and D9. Jesus Christ. That is ML3 FD4 and D9, and you can go to the Bungie Rewards website and type in that code, and it'll be automatically applied to your account. That is huge by Bungie. I'm glad they do that stuff. Actually, I don't even have the emblem on me, do I? No, I don't. Let me put it on for those video peeps. Headset is still fucking acting out. Why? A lot of technical difficulties, but that's fine. This is the emblem there for those who would like it. And then
Yeah,
Pooba is going to
it's
talk
always
on.
good. Always good for showing your support.
Pooba's going to talk on labs now. This is something that's hot topic currently.
Yes, very hot topic. So Bungie has brought back the trials labs. Um, Making a return might be some unfortunate news for some, but they are bringing back capture zones. Um, but contrary to the last time it was around, the zones are going to be a little bit more manageable and a little bit kind of more friendly for both sides. Um,
Thank
it's gonna
God.
start out, yeah, right from the get-go, right at round start, you're gonna have a waypoint on the map showing where the zone is, and there's also going to be a countdown timer to go along with that, so everybody on the field will know when and where the zone is gonna activate. Um, that should give a little bit more information for teams to kind of make plays around it. Um, so you should see a little bit more kind of competition around the zones.
What's the map this week? Do we know?
Um, we do. Endless Veil is gonna be the map.
Well, that 100% is going to be so much better
Yeah,
than
they
what
stated.
Stormhaven. Fuck that. That was
Yeah,
awful. That was
they
not fun
said
to play.
that it's gonna start in the middle of the map again.
Okay.
But
We might have to
they're
fuck
gonna
around with some
be
trials this weekend.
yeah the zones are gonna be a little bit more neutrally located now. One of them is gonna be at Temple, obviously the one at Mid, and then one is gonna be at the Shrine. Um,
Okay.
So a little bit more centrally located, a little bit more neutral, should allow for a little bit more playmaking and should be for a good trials weekend.
Are you looking to mess around this week?
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe after work we can hit some trials.
Alrighty.
Yeah, wanna wanna see what this what it's all about. They are still continuing the or I guess they are switching it up this weekend for matchmaking.
Oh.
Flawless Pool will still be on Sunday.
Okay.
Um, but they are doing card-based matchmaking now. Um,
Could you elaborate?
so
Because I saw that and I don't know what that means.
yeah, so basically what it was in the past, well, I guess what it was in the past is still technically like a card-based, or I guess um it is card-based, which is what it has been. Um,
Okay.
but in the future, they are planning on making it player based. So right now, your wins are associated with your card. Um, and then obviously, once you go flawless, you're still put into flawless pool regardless of whether your card is reset or not. But in the future, you're it's gonna keep track of how many wins you make on all of your cards combined, and it will do matchmaking based off of the number of wins you have on that card. So it's going to probably be unpopular with people that are typically doing flawless carries, um,
Mm. Yeah, I can
because
see that.
your wins are going to stack up and there's no way for you to reset your round or match win count. Um, so if you go flawless in your first 7 wins, you get very lucky. Um, and then you try and play with one of your friends who maybe hasn't gone flawless yet. You're going to be matching up against people that have about the same number of wins as the highest uh, win count having player.
Right. So
Um,
do you see that, like, is it capping at 7, or is it like the more
no, no,
wins
no.
you get that
So,
weekend, the
so yeah.
sweatier you're gonna have
So
to be?
yes. So
Oh
as
God.
you progress, so say you play trials Friday, Saturday, um, and Sunday.
Mhm.
And if you say you accumulate like like 40 wins or so,
Hmm.
um, you're going to match against players who also have about 40 wins
Oh
or so.
fuck. So
So
okay, so you're telling me that basically for the lower skill players or lower tier trials sweats, Jesus Pooba. um it's basically flawless first go or bust
yes,
because
so
it's going to be sweatier and
be
sweatier.
yes. So note that uh if you have 40 wins and you still haven't gone flawless, you are still going to be matching against people that have 40 wins regardless of whether they've gone flawless or not. Um, Obviously, if the flawless pool is still active, you won't be matched against people that have gone flawless. But my understanding is that as they kind of push these updates out, they are going to remove the flawless pool.
Right.
Um, so it's going to be obviously the people that are playing more often and then are a little bit more unlucky. Um, it's going to get significantly more
Going to get worse and worse as the week goes
unlucky.
on.
Um, yeah.
Uh,
They are looking to kind of make it more worthwhile to play in the flawless pool, such as like looking to add more of like rewards and that kind of stuff and increase reputation gain. But uh, it's still a work in progress. Like I said, the labs is just the kind of experimentation, like experimental mode for Bungie to kind of figure out what works and what doesn't. Um,
right.
but
Okay. Interesting. Well, that'll be a definitely interesting thing to see how sweaty it can get after a certain amount of wins. Fuck.
yeah,
Um,
it's gonna be an interesting change.
quite interesting that Bungie, like the first week trials was out this season. This is in season 15 currently. If you're listening later in life, um, trial the way trials was released, everybody loved it. 30% of the community went flawless for the first, or not for the first time, but that week. That is the closest theoretical number that Bungie can get to having the trials community go flawless. Um, if it were to be perfect, it would be 33% of Guardians, but obviously, like, not everybody's gonna go flawless. So 30% is a very, very good number for the community. Um, but I mean, now they've changed it so much that I think the player base is kind of just shifted back to how it was before, and I don't know how to fix it or how they would change that. But yeah, that is Trials Labs. Unless you have something to add, Pooba.
No, no, I think it's one of those things we'll just have to kind of wait and see how it plays out, similar to a lot of the topics in this TWAB.
Okay. Moving on to big changes happening on December 7th, 2021. This is the 30th, or Bungie's 30th anniversary, not Destiny's 30th anniversary. Um, Bungie, as a developer, has been around for 30 years, and they're going to celebrate it heavy. In Destiny, the current game they have released. Um, and there's a lot of gun changes happening on in the mid-season. This 30th anniversary falls kind of mid-season, and so they're using it as the uh, launch point for the mid-season weapon update, gun refresh kind of style update. And so we're gonna move into weapon archetypes. First thing is shotguns. Big change here. Slug shotguns are getting a 10% damage nerf from where they were buffed in season 11. So they in season 11 they were buffed. They were given a 30% damage buff. That is being brought down to a 20% damage buff. And pellet shotguns are receiving that 10%, so they're getting an extra 10% damage boost. So we'll see which shotgun reigns supreme in PvE after this change is made. I still think my Philo and Heritage are going to be mainstays in my inventory, but we'll see if they're complete dog shit after this. Linear fusions. Um, in season
Linear.
14 they bumped those up, and they
Yep.
are
I'm
they
excited for that one.
pardon.
I'm excited for linears.
Yeah, I mean you can take this one. It is yours anyways. I just kind of started
Right
reading.
off the bat. Yeah. Well, so right now, obviously, linears are very hot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
with that particle deconstruction.
Huge.
But
One facing
they're
Atheon all day long. We love it.
oh, absolutely. They are I think this one they are attempting to kind of make it a little bit more reliable for next season. So what they've decided to do is they have increased the PvE damage by 10% with linears. Um, so once the season ends, particle deconstruction goes away. And so I feel like had they not decided to announce this, maybe linears would be used a little bit less next season.
Mm.
But with this, I think you're going to see a lot of interesting kind of loadout changes for a lot of the boss encounters. Particularly, we were talking about it yesterday. I think sleeper stimulant is gonna see a little bit more of some more love.
Yeah, and Sleeper did get some more love that we'll talk about later. So in addition to this 10% PVE damage increase, so we'll see if Sleeper is a endgame viable strat or not. We shall see. Caster frame swords like the one I'm holding currently. I am holding the Temptation's Hook, or Soulless Scar if you're a Trials sweaty. They reduced the heavy ammo cost, so the cast swing from 8 rounds being used to 5. So those are a little bit more cost efficient if you're looking to bring those into some PvE content, or even PvP if you're really going hard on the swords. Those now cost less to do the thing with, which is okay, I guess. It's a welcome change, but it won't affect me at all, to be honest. I don't use Temptation's Hook. The only one I had is 1100, and it's been sitting in my vault since it came out. So, you know,
Yeah,
I don't have much to say on that one, but that's that. Bows, my favorite fucking weapon type in the game, and I know Pooba loves his Whispering Slab with a passion. In season 11, they bumped up bow damage versus rank and file enemies. So any small enemy that isn't named, like this stalker here, those are rank and file enemies. They bumped it up the damage against them by 10%, and they're giving it an additional 10% damage versus rank and file enemies. So that's cool. And this we're gonna kind of move into sidearms and fusions, and this is more technical stuff right here. So if you don't know Bungie terminology, that's fine. Just listen and act like you know what I'm saying, because that's what most people do. Due to an ancient, I'm reading this straight off the TWAB. This is going to be a little bit more robotic, but due to an ancient data entry error, sidearms and fusion rifle projectiles are non-hit scan. Now, if you don't know what hit scan means, that's fine. Behind the scenes, the engine does math converting a projectile converting a projectile from non-hit scan to hit scan if it would cover a certain distance in one frame. And so fusion rifles before this change are currently non-hit scan. And after this change, they will be hit scan. There is a specific issue with the game where if your frame rate is lower than a certain point, you would be doing less damage. And now they are increasing the speed at which those things travel, so they do become hit scans, so that you're doing the same damage across all frame rates. That is a technical issue that they are fixing. Thank God, it has been a problem since Forsaken launched, and I know it was a huge thing with what's it called? 1000 Voices. That was a huge complaint about that if your frame rate was higher, you'd do less damage.
Yep.
But they're fixing it, so now across all platforms, you will be doing the same amount of deeps no matter what. So if you're on, or I think it was the lower your frame rate, the less damage. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think so.
So if you're on console, you're gonna be contending with the big boys now. So congrats, Bungie is finally giving you some love.
Maybe that's why I would always do more damage than you.
I mean, maybe not anymore, brother.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I turned
Now that
off
you've
my
got
VSync.
your VSync.
God damn it. That being said, that's all for the archetype changes. So anything that falls into that archetype. Now we're going to specific exotic weapons, and I know Pooba is excited to talk about this one. This one's a fun one.
Oh yes, my ride or die, my Vex Mythoclast way to kick it off. Not a huge nerf. I was expecting a much bigger nerf,
So
and
was
I am absolutely ecstatic that they didn't touch the damage. Um, what they have done is they have kind of made a little bit of a change to the aim assist. Um, so they reduced the aim assist stat by 25. They kind of reduced the linear fusion rifle mode. So for those of you don't know, as you get kills, you kind of buff up this overcharge. And once you reach 6 overcharge, you can hold your reload button to activate a linear fusion rifle mode called Temporal Unlimiter, and basically turns it into a fusion or a linear fusion rifle. You get
Mhm.
3 shots with that. They have changed the aim assist cone scaler from 1.1 to 1.05. So basically, what that means is that it kind of reduces by a very small amount the amount of aim assist that it gives you while you're zoomed in and firing from a distance um, for the weapon.
Mhm.
So not too big of a change. Like I said, it's a 0.05 change, but
Good
in
thing to
PvP,
note.
yeah, it's a good thing to note.
Good thing to note is that the gun doesn't gun it can still melt faces like as much as it did before. It just the gun itself isn't helping you out as much. So I mean, if you still want to use Vex and still pop off with it, you just need to practice aiming, I guess.
Yeah, 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 it's just gonna be a little bit more unforgiving in the sense that if you're trying to aim from a long distance. And then in PvP as well, they made it so you have to get 3 kills instead of 2 to unlock that temporal unlimiter.
Which I think is a welcome
So
change. I don't.
yeah, I think you're gonna see a little bit less of a use for PvP or trials more specifically, um,
Yeah, I mean
where
the other team has to
you
get a
can
res for you to
only
melt. I mean,
yeah
at
yeah
that point it's
yeah
good because if the enemy team does happen to get one of them cheesy reses off, where you dumpster the actual person doing the resing before the or the resed gets to move and do something, you can just linear him the face if you got all 3 kills. So that's I guess that is useful in that regard, but I don't know about
yeah.
um yeah. Oh shit, I'm gonna die. um Moving on to my favorite exotic, the reason why I want to talk about this one is the fighting line is finally getting the change and I was very passionate about this before. I did a lot of screaming on the other one, but I'm going to keep it nice and civil this time.
Mhm.
Fighting line changes happened at the start of Season 15 because of the infinite primary ammo change that they made to the game. Now, if you don't know, this change made it so that it just quite literally what it says, all white ammo weapons don't have bricks anymore. All primary weapons can be shot indefinitely. Not a bottomless clip, obviously, but infinite ammo reserves. And fighting line does fall into that category. So Bungie was a little worried about the spamming of grenade launcher shots in PvP. Now, my thing is that this gun originally, when it was released, and still when there was ammo capacity to it, it would generate ammo on every single kill. This is when it was a green weapon back in year 1 of D2. They then changed it to a white ammo grenade launcher, which is unique, and it didn't really change the gun at all. It just made it so you couldn't generate your own green ammo with Fighting Lion, and then switch to something that needed it, which is huge, I guess. It's a good decision. So it literally, you had 27 grenades in the inventory. Add that to generating ammo every single kill. If you didn't get a kill within 27 grenade launcher shots, you don't deserve to have ammo. That's just a fact. So for them to make it so that its reload is absolutely horrible, especially when the masterwork is a reload masterwork, I'm sorry, no, absolutely not. That is a
No, thank
dumb
you.
decision. That is a dumb decision. So they're kind of going back on that a little bit. They're making it so that if you get any damage at all, the reload goes back up to what it is better than what it used to be. So that's huge.
Yep.
And that's I don't know. It's a gun for me that I use very, very. Just like I would just solo the fighting lion. That's all I would use because it reloads so quick, and it was in year one. That's the closest thing you could get to double special. Or to sorry, because it was a double primary meta in year one. In case you didn't know, and that was the closest thing you can get to having a one kinetic weapon and one special weapon. The damage that fighting at lion output was obviously much more than a hand cannon, so I just would rock the better devils and the fighting lion and swap between the two of them, and that's how I forcefully brought myself out of the double primary meta. That being said, that is all that the changes that they're making to they did say that this isn't a full rollback of the nerf they gave it at the beginning of the season, but it's kind of an adjustment because it wasn't necessary. So they're acknowledging their fuck up. I'm happy with that. At the same time, they should have done it in the first place. Bungie, fucking, you be tweaking too much, brother.
How could you
You be geeking way too hard right now. But they're fixing it, so that's good.
All right, moving on to the Arbalest. A nice linear fusion rifle in the primary slot. It does use special ammo. I know a lot of people probably aren't gonna know what this gun is. I had it since year one when I stopped playing, and I would be lying if I said I ever used it.
No, Arbalest is not a year one gun.
Since that, it's not. Oh no, it's not. It's not.
No, it came out.
No, I did. Yep. I got it when I came back.
Tis new, yeah.
Mm-hmm,
I think that's the season you join. I think.
Yep. Literally, yep.
Yeah.
So, well, it might have been. I think I got it from
after. Did you get the kiosk?
Probably, yeah. Either the kiosk or playing through. But I never used it. I know a lot of people never used it. Its entire purpose is for shield breaking. And
it couldn't do that.
Yeah, it couldn't do that. So, only change they made is they intrinsically added an anti-barrier mod, kind of like the Ariana's Vow.
So your grandmaster, you grandmaster sweaties, and if you want to get some grandmaster clears, but you don't have any armor slots or mod slots on your armor for anti-barrier, the Arbalest is going to be your best friend. And if it's not, then the Ariana's Vow is already your best friend. I don't know. I don't know. You play the game.
Yeah, so I mean, for the last couple of weeks of the season, you'll be able to run unstoppable. Well, no, you won't, because that's fusion, not linear. No, it is. Yeah, you should be able to double stack up the both of the champion mods on that one gun.
So Arbalest is all you're gonna need.
Yup. Could be nice. Could be nice. We'll have to see. After that, my favorite, again, one of my, I guess, second favorite, the Sleeper Stimulant. As we talked about before, linear fusion rifles are getting a 10% PvE buff. And now, with the Sleeper Stimulant, they have increased the magazine size from 3 to 4. Big ups. And on top of that 10% natural increase, they are giving the Sleeper a 6% PvE buff as well. For damage.
So that's gonna be huge. I'm hoping it's usable in day one. I really am.
Yeah. So if you don't have the catalyst, time to work on that.
Exactly. Yeah. Set yourself up a Shirochi checkpoint and go hard for an hour. Not even. It doesn't take that long. Yeah. I think the catalyst drops some strikes. I think. Don't quote me on that.
It does. It does.
Okay. Yeah. So if you don't have it even unlocked, throw on this unnamed podcast. This would be a super sick plug mid podcast if I had a fucking name for this thing. But throw on our podcast, do strikes with us, and just chill and listen for 2 hours while we discuss the game, I guess. If you haven't done it already. If you have done it already, then do the same. Just still do that. Do that. But just, do it just because you want to, not because you need something. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And I think it also knows, like, obviously, if you're doing the strikes, if you're doing Vanguard strikes, and you're doing the Nightfalls also count towards that. So obviously, the higher level of a Nightfall with the higher level rewards, you're going to be more likely to get that catalyst. So,
yeah,
run some GMs.
Run some GMs. Flawless. Absolutely. GMs are if you're not shooting for GMs. Solo flawless the GMs. Yeah. That is my next goal as a Destiny player, solo flawlessing GMs. It's been done. It has been done. And
Yeah.
and with a new Arbalist, you just gotta wait for an unstoppable barrier GM, and
Yep.
you have everything caked. That's all you need.
Yep.
Moving on, Suros Regime. I don't know a single person who uses this gun. Not one. Not a soul. If you are one of 4 Guardians who main Suros Regime, this changes for you. They are changing the dual mod. I keep saying that. Dual mode receiver. I did that last time too. Dual mode receiver always made Suros a worse 360 RPM auto rifle. So now they're making it so it's just not shit. And by doing that, they are giving it stat increases with that mode activated. So it's plus 30 range, plus 3 zoom if you are if you're in that 360 auto rifle mode. So there's that. I think it's the worst mode of the two. Anyways, I don't know if this
Speaking of
will make it better.
worse things,
Yeah, literally.
the Cryosthesia 77K. The change that was long too late. So
Way
I
too
have
late.
a lot of way too late. A whole season and a half too late, I would say.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm sure if you had this gun, you hate it just as much as we do. Um, this is a lot of problems. So the variable trigger is basically the special kind of use for the weapon. Basically, you would get a kill with the gun, and you would receive this buff called the LN something burst something or another, and it would allow you to shoot a stasis bolt, which would freeze the enemy. The problem with this is that it would consume your entire magazine to cast that bolt, and you would be left with a reload. And by the time you reloaded and were ready to shoot again, the stasis would pretty much be gone.
It's such a joke, man. Like this,
so
it's so goofy when you
so
like
you
when you
would
say it
you,
out
you
loud. It's so funny.
it was just like you would be caught and you would just be like, well, okay, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
So they removed that completely. Basically they made it so you would get the kill and you would receive this buff. There wouldn't be a timer on it. You would get to basically get the special reload like you do with the Vex Mythoclast to activate the linear fusion mode. You would hold your reload button and you would unlock that stasis bolt. Um, Part of the reason that I absolutely hated the gun was while you had that burst activated, you had about 10 seconds to fire that stasis bolt or else it went away. But the stasis bolt was fired by holding your left click versus uh, just shooting normally. So what would happen
On release,
is
right? Like it's
yeah, so it
yeah.
would be on your release after you charged it up. Um, but while the burst was activated, the gun wouldn't fire whenever you clicked. It would fire whenever you released. So you would have the charge, and so for 10 seconds you were basically shooting at a delay because it would shoot on the release of the mouse trigger.
Mhm.
So they changed it completely. So now you have to charge it with the special reload, and it after firing that bolt, it switches back to your regular magazine, but it does not consume the magazine. So it's going to be very nice. You can be able to basically freeze the target, and then hopefully get a couple of shots in. And that charge shot also, they added a little AoE which will freeze kind of larger groups around you instead of just that individual target, which should be pretty nice.
You did it to him
Oh,
again.
poor guy. Yeah.
I mean, I guess welcome change, but at the same time, I'm not. It doesn't affect me at all.
Yeah, it was like I said, a little too late.
Way
But
too fucking late. I don't like sidearms to begin with, so I mean, I guess that gun really wasn't in my favor at all, and it would never be in my favor. But I mean, still,
yeah.
at some point, they kind of got to be a little self-aware. I'm dead as shit. Please, 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 please. We're fine. Okay. Moving on to what do we got? We got two really, really interesting ones. These are two heavy weapons. Up first is the Leviathan's Breath. This is some not necessarily interesting information because of Leviathan's Breath. It's interesting information because of what's kind of underlying and what this change means for the game going forward. So they say they're complaining that the Leviathan's Breath is underused, and no fucking shit, it's a heavy bow. I mean,
I wonder why.
I wonder why it's underused, but does it have overload capabilities? I think it does. Am I wrong?
I
Hold
think
on,
so.
real fast. We're gonna find out what this bow does because I'm fairly certain it has something like that. No. Power weapons. It is, yeah, unstoppable. Okay,
Okay.
interesting. So it's a bow that is unstoppable. I didn't know that. Now I know. But they think that it is underused, and it is. If you don't know, it has the highest draw time of any bow in the game. And so now what they're doing is they are giving the catalyst now grants archers tempo in addition to its additional effects, and in brackets. It says expect this type of catalyst tweak to become more common moving forward. So that little bracket bit is what I'm interested in. You expect this kind of tweak. So are they gonna give catalysts the bonus that they give now, and then add a perk on top of that? Because Archer's Tempo is already a perk, so it gives it that secondary perk, an extra perk. So now are all catalysts gonna have 3 extra things?
That could be a thing. Or maybe they I'm not sure. I mean, that definitely adds a lot of possibility for to kind of change the meta as they see fit.
Mm.
Um, it, but
Yeah.
I think that would definitely add a lot of improvement as far as like the ability to cause like rotations to be for different guns in the meta. Like, could see a lot of guns that maybe don't see a lot of love kind of make a little bit of a comeback.
Mm-hmm. Could you imagine if Bad Juju got outlaw along with the catalyst? That'd be disgusting. So like it
Oh
extends string of
man.
curses plus outlaw. If you get a headshot, you reload instantly. I guess it reloads instantly anyways. Never mind. What the fuck would? That was a really dumb fucking thing to say. I don't know why I said it because it reloads. It reloads the
It,
whole magazine on kill. What the fuck would you give Bad Juju? We're taking a little detour here. What additional
oh
perk
man.
would you put on this thing? Zen moment, maybe? Zen moment would be huge.
Maybe Zen moment would be
Oh my god, on a 450? Jesus, this gun already doesn't move.
yeah.
Stability is huge. I don't know. Could give it maybe a rangefinder. I think a rangefinder would be a cool one. Give it that little extra reach in Crucible.
Yeah.
And then the next exotic change we got coming is Whisper the Worm. This is exciting for me. I'm very excited about this because they found a middle ground finally after when did that gun release in D1? 6 years. After 6
Yeah, I think so.
whole years, they have finally found a middle ground for the Whisper of the Worm. I think obviously none of this is released yet, so it's all speculation. But the original king of DPS has fallen out of favor with the delay before the damage buff kicking in, making the weapon less usable in short damage phases. I'm looking at you, Atrax. I lost where I'm reading. God damn it. Anyways, yeah. So the time it takes to activate the whispered breathing perk, which is what gives the gun the crazy damage output, has been changed from 2.1 seconds to 1.2 seconds. So now it's it takes half the time to activate now is what they're saying. The White Nail magazine, the White Nail perk used to fill the magazine from reserves for all 3 bullets if you hit 3 consecutive crits. That has changed, so now it does 2 shots from reserve and 3 shots from 2 shots from reserves, 1 shot from thin air. So your ammo is going to be a little. It's gonna be easier on your ammo during raid boss fights. If you're doing 4 phases, you're not gonna run out of ammo every single time. I mean, you probably still will if the damage phase is long enough, but it's gonna be a little bit more forgiving
Should
in that
be a
regard.
little bit, yeah, a little bit more.
So that's good. You're pulling 2 from. I don't even know how much that gun has in reserves, anyways. But you're pulling 2 bullets from reserves for every 3 headshots consecutively. If you miss, obviously that doesn't proc, so just hit your shit. Basically, what it comes down
Yep,
to.
just
And
hit the
if you're upset
Kovacs.
about having to hit all your shots, you're mad cause bad. You know.
It's only game.
It is only game. Why you have to be
Why
mad?
you have to be made? But we'll see. We'll see. You know, maybe the time for the return of the king.
Return of sniper
Return
meta.
of
I'm down, honestly.
sniper meta. I'm telling you, like we talked about last time, sniper sidearm gonna be champion mods next season.
Mm-hmm. Anti-barrier sniper would be kind of crazy.
You never know. But speaking of another sniper, the Darcy.
This is
Good
another
old
D1
Darcy.
fun times. I don't or not D1. Sorry. Year one D2.
Yeah. Darcy. I remember using Darcy. So basically, they noted that pretty much all of the other snipers have received buffs in the past,
Except this one.
except for the Darcy. So they have decided to show some love for Darcy. Um, Basically, they made it a little bit more forgiving in the way that its targeting system works. Uh, you while you're scoped in, and while your personal assistant is active, you receive a reduced flinch, reduced recoil, and reduced accuracy degradation. So basically, it's going to make it a little bit easier for you to maintain your tracking on your target. Um, they have also uh, made it so whenever you unfortunately do kind of lose target tracking, um, instead of instantly deactivating the personal assistant, it will give you a little. It'll give you a 1 second kind of cooldown before it goes away, to give you a little bit of time to recover. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, that's
they
huge.
yeah, so it's going to be a little bit easier for you to maintain that target lock. And on top of that, they decided to give it a 20% PvE damage buff.
That's huge because Darcy
So
does damage
that's,
anyways. Like it's not
yeah,
terrible, but it's not like
yeah.
be all
It
end
is
all of
no
damage. There's been
joking
better
matter.
options
Yeah,
every time, which is why it hasn't been used. So this is, I think that'll
yeah.
be a fun welcome change.
That 20% definitely, it makes me think like that it makes me very curious about next season's mods, because you don't just throw a 20% damage buff on there for no reason. And it also could just be because, like I said earlier, it's like every other sniper pretty much has been buffed except for Darcy. But I don't
I
know.
think that that is the sniper changes are the most telling for me what is coming next season. Out of all the changes
Yeah,
that have been made, this one screams at me the loudest.
yeah.
Um, malfeasance. Let me pull up the malfeasance again. I kind of switched to the bad juju because we started talking about it, but the malfeasance is getting a change. This gun has fallen out of favor since 20 minutes after the release of Forsaken. Um, it's a gun all about the explosions and extra taken damage, and they have stated that the explosions are really underwhelming, and I could not agree more. They suck. So they're giving the explosion damage a plus 50% damage buff. So keep an eye on somebody in my day one rating team. We talk numbers and game mechanics and damage all the time. And he brought up the Hunter strat running Lucky Pants with the changes made this season to it, plus the Malfeasance after these changes. Plus taken enemies, you're going to be doing a shit ton of damage. So if you're looking
Oh
for
yeah.
a strat, if you're a hunter and you want to do day one rating, have a Malfeasance just kind of ready to go, just in case any orange bar taken that are struggling to go down might within the raid. It might be the play for you to run a Lucky Pants Malfeasance build to get rid of them if you're on ad clear. If that's something that's needed, if you feel like
Yeah.
that's DPS you want. Again, damage testing is going to have to be done. This all comes out on December 7th, and we will the week of we will have most, or I don't want to say most, but we'll have some of these damage numbers tested and let you know how the changes feel once we actually get a hold of them. But for now, it's all speculation, and I'm suspecting the Malfeasance might not be terrible of a choice against some Taken in a specific, like with a specific kind of build. So you kind of got to work around the gun being a primary, but other than that, should be good.
Yeah.
A change that I'm fucking upset about, like very
yes,
angry.
Probably the most controversial paragraph right here of the entire TWAB.
Listen, if you're happy about this, I think you're not a very good person. You know what I mean? You're very mean in the Crucible, let me tell you. So, the Dead Man's Tale. Now, if you told me a week ago that Dead Man's Tale was going to be changed, I would have been, oh, fucking thank God, perfect. They're finally nerfing this fucking thing again. God damn it. Nope, it's a buff. They're making it even better than it is currently, which boggles my mind. Bungie, how do you, like, what? Who's making this decision? And the reason for this is that it on controller, like with controller players, this gun has fallen out of favor, which I don't even know
still
why that
not
matters.
entirely convinced that like maybe the Destiny 2 like the console like Reddit page. I'm sure they all came up with this elaborate scheme. They're like, all right, we are going to all stop using the Dead Man's Tale, and then Bungie's gonna have no choice but to buff it
on only controller, and we're gonna
on
dumpsters
only
trials
control.
for months.
Oh my god.
So they're making they're tuning it specifically for controller. So if you're a PC user, this isn't gonna affect the gun for you much, but it is gonna affect it a little bit. And then controller, you're gonna see some pretty intense changes with the gun, which already frustrates me to no end. But whatever. Oh, I'm dead. Son of a bitch. They are increasing the reticle friction. So the kind of when you aim in at a head, it's a little bit harder to pull away. And I actually played on controller with Radio the other day, somebody who was in the community, and you have to fight the game to not hit headshots. I was using Ace of Spades, and I was getting like every single shot I would shoot was a precision, no matter what I was fighting. So you have to like it's the game does a lot for you on controller, and I didn't realize how much it helps until I went back to it. So they increased that, so it's even harder to miss a headshot now. Less recoil, less effective on keyboard and mouse. I mean, it's impossible to have recoil on keyboard and mouse if you kind of know what you're doing. So that doesn't affect keyboard at all. And then improved accuracy. That's the one that pisses me off. The gun is more accurate now. I don't know, man. I don't even know how to react to that.
Yeah, it's just literally word for word improved accuracy. That's it. Reduced
That's all you need
effect
to
on
know.
mouse and keyboard. There you go.
I mean, yeah, there's I gotta move on. I can't deal with this.
Yeah.
I'm getting
no
more
words.
upset
No
the more
words.
I look at the improved accuracy.
Yep. On a better note, a little bit of a brighter note, the heir apparent catalyst.
This is welcome. Thank God.
Yes.
Thank God this
yes.
is
At least they did something right. All right. The heir apparent catalyst. So there was a quote unquote an error in their data. And it resulted in it granting too much damage resistance against other players. I don't know. Part of me thinks that this is just a little cop-out answer, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that it was a data error. So they went ahead and reduced the damage resistance from 75% to 25%. So
all you
you're going to be
Virgin
doing
Shield users in the Crucible.
Shield users will melt 50% quicker.
God damn it! I would fucking slide at you with. I'm an Arc subclass. I'm an Arc Warlock. I would slide at you with the Vision of Conflict. Nope. Found Verdict, which is an Arc shotgun. I'd blast you in the mouth and do a charged melee at you, and your shield would be 50% of the way down. So now, motherfuckers, now you're hitting the big explosion.
Yes. Now, whenever you hear the turret kind of whir up, you don't need to run the other way.
You don't need to. You don't need to.
You
but you might want to think about playing smarter.
Okay, you don't need to turn around and sprint the other way. You just need to start backpedaling.
Yeah, you can leisurely
Yes,
stroll away
you can
backward.
take some shots at them as you're
Hmm.
running away.
It's not gonna be
Um,
as painful to take down, basically. But
yeah,
I mean, the
and
tank spot.
especially if your team shouting, especially if your team turns and you all decide to dumpster it, it shouldn't be it shouldn't be too bad of an issue anymore.
Mhm. I mean,
Um,
with stasis, you could just freeze the person and the shield would go down. That's kind of the strat that everybody would employ that in that regard. But
yeah,
for now, that's the way we're gonna have to deal with it. Is just group team shot the whole thing, and your virgin shield is gone. So hope you guys had
yeah,
fun while it lasted, but no more, bitches.
no more, no more.
No more. Uh,
Also,
ooh.
a slight change to the Lorenz driver, the season weapon from the pass this season, 15.
Mhm.
Um, they say that with the bonuses of this season, the fusion rifles and that of the sort seem a little bit strong. So instead of reducing the damage or anything like that, they have decided to reduce the amount of sources where you can get your your ability kind of energy buff. Um, so you do not get the ability energy regeneration on picking up telemetry anymore. Or I guess you will not once this comes out on the 7th. Um, so should be maybe I think it's going to be the biggest kind of application in PvP. Um,
I mean, yeah.
PvE, you're not going to see much of a difference.
I don't think Lawrence is much of a PvP or PvE weapon. I apologize. Anyways, I've never shot
Yeah,
a single round of it. There's a lot of exotics
yeah.
where I'll say that.
It's like
And that's one
maybe
of them.
maybe in like specific GMs where there's a bunch of void shields,
Actually, you know what? I have seen people use
yeah,
it in
like two
GMs.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Um,
Um. So I guess that'll change. That's a change that I'm feeling different about. I don't know about you, Pooba. I know you've used it a couple times.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit. I used it before I got Vex, to be honest.
Oh,
But
okay,
now
yeah.
that I have Vex, it's like
Vaulted.
I don't need any other gun.
Mm-hmm. Another change here is the Traveler's Chosen. Now I have a prediction as to why this change is being made, but they've changed the way that it gives you, or sorry, that it recharges your abilities. Before it would charge your abilities kind of on a curve, and if you don't know what that means, it would grant you more energy for lower stacks. It stacks up to 10, right? So you get 10 kills and you have 10 stacks. I think that's how that works. Again, this is another gun I've
Yeah.
never fired a single bullet of, so. Um, but you you get 10 kills, you get 10 stacks, and it charges all your abilities for you. Um, that being said, they have changed it so, or I guess it used to lower stacks would give you more. That's the key point here is that you would get one kill and it would charge your abilities more than what the single stack on the 10th kill would give you. So that's the curve. That's the curve they're talking about. Now each one gives you a flat 10% of your ability. So 10 kills charges all your abilities to 100%. Um, and where so it's the same amount that you can charge over the course of the 10 kills, but instead of you getting 20% ability charge on one kill, on one stack, and then on two stacks, it gives you, or on the second stack, it'll give you, 17%, and on the third stack, it's 13%. It's now 10 across the board.
Yes.
So,
A little bit more
manageable.
kind of, yeah, a little bit more continuity and
And my
being able to.
my thought process for why they're making this change is because next season the Void overhaul is coming. They don't want people spamming the Void abilities. Like they're they're pre-nerfing it because it would have been a problem with the changes to the Void subclass is my guess.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So, um, and then they reduced the stacks granted on a Guardian defeat from 3 to 2. So in Crucible, it's going to be less obnoxious. Again, I think that changes is pre-nerfing the Void abilities. And that is it. That is it for the exotic weapon changes. Everything else is staying the same. So if you were worried about your exotic getting touched, it has not. If it wasn't already in that list.
Yep.
Going forward onto perks that are changing. This one's an exciting one. Adrenaline Junkie was never good. It's always been shit, and they're finally doing something about it. I have Adrenaline Junkie on this Jurassic Green I'm currently using. This is pre-nerf, but I thought I'd pull it out just so you guys can see what it currently does. Currently, Adrenaline Junkie works like this, granting grenade final blows grant bonus damage and handling for a moderate duration. That is something that nobody's going to use. It is way too specific to your grenade charge time, and the moderate duration isn't long enough to make it really matter, especially in Crucible. So now what they're doing is eliminations with this weapon grant a single damage stack or extends existing ones. And then grenade eliminations instantly grant 5 stacks. So it stacks to 5. It's a damage boost, and the gun can proc it. What does that sound like to you guys? Pooba, what do you think that sounds like?
Sounds beautiful.
There's another perk in the game that it works
another
identical to that, except with the melee ability and Swashbuckler. So think of Adrenaline Junkie as grenade or Swashbuckler for your grenade. So that's the change they're making to it. I think that's welcome. That gives you can pick and choose whichever one you want. Whichever ability recharge you want for that 5 stack damage buff. I still think melee kills is a little bit easier in PvE to get. PvP it might
a little bit
be
more
the other way
convenient,
around.
I would say.
Yeah, you can toss a grenade across it at some ads grouping up, and that's an instant 5 stack of damage. The good thing about this though is that I guess it always could. It does the same thing with Swashbuckler. I don't know. We will see which damage buff is better. I would presume this one is going to be a little bit better of a damage buff because grenade charge is longer, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those things that you just have to test.
I am very excited for this change though. I think this Jurassic Green I have is going to be kind of nutty after this change. Currently it's kind of shit, but once this change comes out, I can see myself using it as a solar pulse more often because I like Swashbuckler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say I personally use it a lot, but I'm never like it's never like oh my god, why do I have this? It's
any damage buff is welcome.
Yeah. Now one of the mods that some people are going to be unhappy about, myself included, Vorpal Weapon is being overhauled. So Vorpal Weapon used to be 15% flat on all weapons against bosses, named bosses, stuff like that. Now they have changed it so heavy weapons get a 10% buff, special weapons get a 15% like it was, and then primaries get a 20% buff. Kind of unfortunate. So basically, the only thing that's going to be affected the most are going to be the heavy weapons that you would normally use for 15 are only going to do 10% now. But I think you'll see, like, still with situations like Sleeper Stimulant, it gets a 16%, so that should make up for a little bit. It's just it might change the meta a little bit. So like having that 5% loss versus a 16% bonus may start to see some other weapons start to get some love versus a Vorpal heavy.
I mean, I don't know any kinetics or any primaries, sorry, that have Vorpal.
Yeah,
I can't think of a single one off the top of my head.
Yeah, off the top of my head. But maybe this change is meant to kind of change that,
Yeah.
It's like now that you're getting a 20% bonus versus 15, like that extra 5%, there might be a couple of primaries.
I'm actually gonna Google primary.
Deserve a little bit more love,
Yeah, I'm just Googling primaries with Vorpal right now because I can't think of a single one that has it. Yeah, I can't honestly. I'll do this later. But yeah, no. If you happen to have a non-sunset primary weapon that has Vorpal, it is going to be doing more for you than it previously did. God damn it! I'm sneezing. So So that's a plus, I guess. Moving on. This is you again.
Is Whirlwind's Blade, the undeniably greatest mod or perk for a sword. You can't argue that anyone is better.
No, this is the king of sword
Well,
mods
you couldn't,
perks.
but now starting next month, you might be able to. um, they have nerfed it a little bit. They increased the number of stacks to hit maximum damage by 5. So it used to be 5, now it is 10. So you gotta light attack a little bit more before you can whirlwind. Um,
My biggest worry for this is the Atrax encounter. That encounter is not long
yeah,
enough to get 10
yeah.
swings
So
in.
yeah, for those shorter little encounters, you're gonna kind of see an almost drastic, like 100% decrease in the use of that weapon.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally no point in using it versus like an easier weapon to charge up, like the Lament.
Do
Um,
the damage numbers like 10 stacks is now the equivalent to 5 of 5
yes,
last time? Oh, for
yes,
fuck's sake. Okay.
yes.
Wow.
So you're gonna be doing a bit, essentially like the same amount of damage in twice the amount of time.
Yeah, so if you're thinking like basically the way to think about this is that 2 stacks of Whirlwind Blade is now equivalent to 1 stack. 4 stacks is the equivalent to 2, 6 is the equivalent to 3, 8 is the equivalent to 4, and 10 is the equivalent to 5 now. So that's if you weren't a little like concerned about those numbers now, saying it like that makes me realize how absolutely painful that
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
I mean, that's 10 swings of a sword, and by that point, most enemies that are attacking you back are gonna melee you to death. Or if you're trying to do it on a wyvern, that wyvern is gonna fucking dumpster you from 2 feet away.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, like I'm sort of happy. I will say that I miss Lament. I miss Lament. Um, there is literally like the only time I pull Lament out is for Tanix
Yeah.
in Deep Zone. Um, other than that, it sits in my vault.
Mm-hmm. That's. I mean,
But
yeah.
I
That's.
mean, for like you might see like it make a comeback. I don't know how it's going to change the meta for a lot of things, but I don't know. It could be nice to see some other swords get some love.
Oh, I hope so. Because I mean, like guillotine users in the Atrax encounter, you're gonna definitely want to go get your lament. Go spend them time getting a lament because it's gonna be 10 times more effective for you. That's just the long and or the long and short of it is that guillotine is no longer Atrax viable. And honestly, just any sword with it, you're just gonna need to just do a little bit more. I'm worried about the one phasing ribbon
Yeah,
with LFG groups. That's my problem. But we'll see. I still got a little bit of time before this rolls out, so I guess I got to get my one phasing in. Because I don't know if LFG groups are going to be able to do it now.
yeah.
Next
We'll
perk
see.
we're going to be talking about is Pulse Monitor. It is a perk that I haven't used since its inception, and it's a perk that I will continue to not use because I don't see the point in it. But they're changing it, so instead of activating on what feels like a lost cause of a scenario where you're already dead as fuck, they change it so now it's no longer you have to be below 90 or below, or your health has to be 90% missing. It's now your shield has to be 30% gone. No, your shield has to have 30% left in it. My fault. Which is good. You don't have to take as much damage, which means it's a little bit more viable. You don't have to be like in the red, fighting for your life. You can have a little bit of wiggle room there. Welcome change, not a change that I care too much about, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not a perk that I seek out anymore, like regardless. So,
No.
and I still don't think it's gonna change much.
Mm. And that's it for the perks that are being altered. That's
Yep,
that.
that'll do it. And then we
Mm-hmm.
move into we have two mods for you today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first mod that they're changing is going to be the quick access sling. Um, Really, the only use for that is for some bows and breach grenades. Um, it well, I don't want to say huge change. It is just a slight little change that they made. So it used to be, when you had it enabled, it was plus 100 handling, and then a zero 0.9 times your ready, stow, and aim down sights for 0.4 seconds after running out of ammo. Now, it is only so they take away the 100%, the 100 handling, and it's just 0.9 times ready stow time all the time. So basically, you're always gonna have that ready and stow time versus having to run out of ammo first before swapping.
So it's basically a quick draw the mod.
Yeah, it's basically quick draw. And it's also decided, though, they changed it and added that perk to swap mag perk as well. So both of those are changed, the quick access sling and the swap mag perk. So if you don't have swap mag, then and you still want that effect, you can put the quick access sling on.
Yeah,
Um,
that's good.
instead
I
of
mean,
having to roll for it.
interesting. I might make me use that a little bit more, to be honest, because I've never used it ever.
Never. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be lying if I said I ever used it, but I mean, it's always fun to kind of think about it, and to imagine and to try it out.
I mean, I might put it on my my what's it called? Found Verdict, because I use the Juju and Found Verdict in Crucible, so it might be something that I use more often
Yeah.
now. Moving on to full auto retrofit. Now, if that doesn't sound familiar, you are completely up to date with the game. Congratulations. It is a new mod coming out, due to some popular request by fellow Guardians. Some people have been asking for quite a long time for a full auto system for accessibility and just ease of use for rapid fire weapons that includes legendary hand cannons, sidearms, scout rifles, and pulse rifles. So like the bad juju, you can hold the trigger down and it fires in like full auto mode. It does the bursts automatically for you at its highest RPM, or as soon as it's able to be shot again, it will. This is becoming a mod right now. The ideal for Bungie is that they have an integration setting so that it's not a mod. But for now, they're testing it on a mod slot. So if you are one of those people who doesn't like tapping the trigger or clicking the mouse every 100, like with every time you're ready to shoot, and you want to just be able to hold it down and have the gun do the work for you, this is the mod for you. It's definitely not something that high-end players are going to be using too much. I might test it out just to see how it works for a little bit, but players who know what they're doing and have the timing set for shooting and are able to, just deal with it, I guess, aren't going to use it. Players who've been asking for this for accessibility purposes, I understand, I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just
The
it's a nice little
accessibility
change.
application is going to be nice for those
Quality of life
that
change, I
do
guess. That's what it
genuinely
is.
need it. Yeah. Um, I
Um,
imagine probably 30 years from now, my arthritis would be wishing that I had it earlier.
you're right,
Um,
actually.
but
My arthritis is going to be solely due to Destiny 2,
yeah,
110%.
well, we will see.
And this mod is going to be unlocked for all players on release of the 30th anniversary, so it'll be straight in your inventory immediately, so you can try it out the second you get into that new dungeon. That's it for change, like technical changes to the game. And real swift, I'm just gonna blaze through the issues and stuff to end off this section of the podcast. Hotfixes and extended downtime. Destiny 2 hotfix 3.3.1.3 went live this past Tuesday to fix a few issues. And the next Tuesday, November 16th, Destiny will undergo extended downtime again from 9:45 to 9 a.m. Pacific time. So I mean, if that's the time of the game, I'm sorry, but you won't be able to play the game during that time. Another issue is that if you're playing the game in Mandarin, if you are part of the Mandarin speaking community, the Frenzy, Rampage, and the Rampage spec mod are all named the same in Mandarin. So if you're getting confused as to why your Rampage spec is not working on your Frenzy weapon, that is why. Again, that's not going to affect anybody who isn't playing the game from China. But that is that. The Wicked Overgrowth shader is another issue. It isn't available for players who completed the Iron Banner quest at all, or on all 3 characters before the fix was sent out. So, beginning of the season, it was broken, and they had fixed it, but it's still not available to those people who didn't get it the first time around. So they are aware, and they'll get that shader to you as soon as they can. The Lost Lament quest, speaking of the Lament, if you haven't got the Lament already, hold off on that if you're planning on switching characters around, because it'll mess it up for you. Players that start the Lost Lament quest on one character, so say I started on the Hunter, and I finished it on the Titan, it'll still tell me that I need to complete it on the Hunter when it is not possible to complete it on the Hunter because it's been done on the Titan. So there's a technical issue that they're looking into. So just, if you're going to complete the Lost Lament quest, make sure you stick to the character you started on, because if you don't, you're going to break your game. And when Warlock's Phoenix dive, they cannot slide for 5 seconds. I've definitely noticed that one, and I don't know if it was if it was intended or not. It is not intended. So if you are Phoenix diving before this patch comes out, or before this fix, or before they find a fix for this, sorry, you are not going to be able to slide for 5 seconds following. So just be aware of that movement stuff in Crucible.
They do know it's a thing, and
thank God,
because
I was a little annoyed at that. I thought that was intentional. And that's it. For a full list of emergent issues on Destiny 2, you can go to Bungie Help, and they have your information there covered. And that is that for the TWAB this week. We did skip a couple things, but a couple things that don't actually affect the game. They're just kind of outside. But if you want to go check the TWAB, please do. It's very informative. They have it laid out really, really well. More in depth than we explained here today. But
yeah,
this is kind of a one stop for everything you need to know.
Completely on top of their transparency and what they plan to do and why they plan to do it.
I agree. Thank God, because this game would be frustrating as fuck. As you can tell,
they are open to suggestions. A lot of the changes that they're making are by popular demand.
Yeah.
And it's always good to see that. It's always good to see a game development company doing what they can to.
I mean, the hit scan change that was made that I kind of brought up earlier was brought to light by the community. So it's good that they're listening and they're paying attention to what we're saying. It's makes me think that they care about this game sometimes. And that's that. Any thoughts, extended thoughts on changes coming on the 7th?
I mean, I'm excited. I'm always open to new metas. And I love kind of that testing period where everybody's frantically jumping into various boss checkpoints and raids and things like that, just to find the new ways to kind of increase the maximum damage you can output. I'm a big damage guy.
Pooba is he is the big damage guy. Big
yes,
Daddy damage, you know what I'm saying?
When I LFG and people ask what class I'm running, I say I am the damage main. I am a damage main.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
I struggle to put out the damage Pooba. I've never put out the damage Pooba puts out, and it's frustrating, but also.
So
you know,
if I can find
cuter.
new weapons and new mods and perks to put on my guns to maximize my damage output, oh man, I'm all for it. So
he is
I'm
already
excited.
creaming himself over this damage.
Yes,
over this damage
I am
potential.
already in the Destiny item manager. I am testing out different loadouts to already work on new builds, and we're gonna see how they actually play out, you know.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm excited, and especially because there's a new dungeon coming out. I can solo flawless
Yes.
that with the new stuff. I'm hoping that Sleeper is
Yes. That's the one. So I I used Sleeper like for a little bit when I first got it, but I didn't have the catalyst, so didn't really get the most optimal use out of it.
right.
But now that they're making these changes, it
See, my
could be the
thing is
move.
that right now, as it stands, is that 1K is just more usable in more scenarios.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that 1K becomes very, very sorry, Sleeper becomes more viable than 1K. It's
Yeah.
just
I
as of
want
right
to
now.
I like ideally I would want it to be a competitive kind of
Yeah.
scenario. Like I feel like for a lot of people, um if they don't have 1K, then they are immediately cut off from a majority of LFGs because it is just so much better than any other options. Or if they
Hmm.
don't have the sleeper with catalyst, then you get almost ridiculed.
Yeah,
I would like it to see a little bit more balance to make those kind of options a little bit more open. So a lot more people are able to experience what the game has to offer.
for sure. I mean, like, consistency is a huge thing for me. When I teach raids, I teach people to be consistent, and when the gun has theoretical higher damage output versus consistent damage output, I go for consistency, whereas some players like to go for that highest DPS, highest risk style, and 99% of
Mm,
the time they don't output the damage that they intend to because something goes wrong.
yeah.
Something I would have done more damage if I wouldn't have been this, or I wouldn't have been detained, or like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying in Atheon. So there's the consistency problem for me, and 1K as of right now is just way more consistent for damage. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping this brings Sleeper up to a more consistent thing, because it does have higher DPS potential over 1K. So if this brings up its, because this is gonna just make its damage even higher than 1K anyways. But if it
Yeah.
if it makes it worth using, especially with the extra shot you can fire, and obviously particle decon plus a 16% damage increase, it's just, yeah, it'll be good times if it's consistent for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's only what, like 3 weeks. It's already the 13th as of recording today.
Hmm.
Um, and it comes out on the 7th. So yeah, it's about 3 weeks. So
Yeah, I mean,
it's
we got some time to kind of mold
yeah,
over
kind of
these,
prepare
or mull
and
over
then of
these.
course after all of these changes are released, then it's another uh about 2.5 3 months before Witch Queen.
Hmm.
Um, so I think
And by that
that's
we'll have
very
damage numbers out
much,
the ass.
yeah, that'll be ample time to kind of determine what is going to be good.
Hmm. I mean, fucking, what even do you want to test first? I mean, there's so many things we can test. I kind of want to like get
Oh
straight into
yeah.
Sleeper, but at the same time, like, I might be pulling out the Hunter and just going into a Prophecy dungeon and seeing how fast I can, like, how many phases it takes to melt him with just Lucky Pants
Yeah,
and
yeah. I mean, there's going to be so many builds that you can
Hotfixes.
kind of try out, and I'm excited.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I mean, that's basically it for the TWAB stuff. I do want to kind of talk about where I think the game is chilling right now, and like trials I kind of want to speak on a little bit, because that's an interesting scenario that they're changing it again. I
Yeah,
think.
I mean, obviously my experience with Trials when they had the control was, uh, oh, I mean, I'm a Titan main, so I would just throw on Ward of Dawn, throw on my bubble, and as soon as the point comes up, just go and bubble on point, and there you go. Like nobody, there's essentially securing a round
That's a
win.
free round,
Um,
yeah. No,
uh,
that's a no death round secure, really. I mean, there's
yeah.
no.
Um, there's not much that you could do.
And I mean, as a chaos reach, if there was multiple people on the point, I mean, that's 3 free kills if they're all standing there like idiots trying to get the thing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it forces you to play a certain way, and I think that's why people don't like it. But I mean, I'm not gonna change my play style for a point, really. I will
Yeah.
put myself in a different spot because of a point, but I'm still not gonna be playing as aggressive as like the only way that I'm gonna push a point and be super aggressive is if there's 25 seconds left in the round and we absolutely need the point. I'm gonna see if I can make something happen, but I'm not gonna. I mean, I guess that might be why I'm not a top 100 trials sweat because I don't play the traditional trials way. But
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know.
It's
I also use a wish ender in trials, so I mean, like, come on.
yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, you know, it's like it is Trials Lab. They are running it as more of an experimental kind of version. Um and they're just testing to see what they can do to kind of work on those numbers of getting as many people to go flawless as possible while maintaining that kind of fairness that you would expect going in.
Hmm.
Um,
Did you?
and so it's
Sorry, did you mess around in freelance trials at all?
um personally, yeah, I did not.
Neither did I.
Um,
Damn.
yeah,
It's back for
it
this one, right?
is, it
Oh, okay.
is, it is
Interesting.
back, and along
Uh,
with this weekend's double rewards.
Oh, it is.
Um,
Oh, okay. See,
yeah,
for the thing with freelance is that I don't even want to play it until I've gone. Dude, I don't even want to play it at all because of the trials wins thing. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
if I get 7 wins in freelance, or if I get 5 wins in freelance and then lose because of stupid teammates, then I'm stuck at those 5 wins, and now it's gonna be more difficult for me to do it with friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I think so. Obviously, if you're like within a couple round wins, or a couple game wins, um, it's probably, I imagine it's going to be more applicable if you have, say, like 40 or 50 wins
mm-hmm.
uh versus like less than 10. Um,
Yeah, that is true.
so
I mean,
I
I guess I
think
got to see how it
their
plays out.
main goal for it was for kind of making sure that people, or the kind of uh tend to steer people away
Gatekeeping.
from carrying, yeah,
Steer people away
from
from gatekeeping, man,
carrying
because I know
tournament.
people would just
Yeah,
reset their card at 6 and keep stay on that non-flawless pool and dumpster the people just
yeah,
trying to get flawless for the first time, and that's. I mean, I've definitely done that before, but I stopped doing it a long time ago. I say long time ago, but I mean, I've done it with a group before where they just kept resetting, and I was like, all right, whatever. So I reset as well, but um, yeah, I can see that problem being kind of solved there. I mean, an ingenious fix to that problem, really, for Bungie. But my worry is that they overcompensate trying to fix it and make it a little worse for the players that they're aiming to help out.
yeah. um Once again, it's one of those things that you kind of like, it's gonna take a little bit of time, you know. I mean, it's a current, but then always changing meta, and a changing kind of player base. It's like uh it's it's a constantly changing work in progress.
I mean,
Um,
Bungie does a really good job of making sure this game is balanced. To be honest, there's some
yeah,
busted shit that they take forever to fix, but I mean, overall, it's not.
yeah.
They get on top of the things they
In
need to
the
get
end,
on
things end
top
up
of.
working out.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily have much else to bring up. I guess we finish this strikeout and we can end it there. That is much faster of a time than last time than the first time around.
Yeah, I think it was after talking about it, I think in the future, like kind of taking that day before to kind of really read through it together and kind of give initial thoughts can
Mm-hmm.
definitely uh at least now, like today talking about it, it felt like a lot of things made much more sense to me uh
Yeah. I mean,
going in.
thank God. I
So
mean,
it's
this
like,
is technically our second recording session now, so we're kind of. I'm more comfortable just talking about things.
yeah, yeah,
You know.
and obviously, like I think for both of us, podcasts in general, this kind of entertainment is completely new. Like
Yeah, I mean,
I don't necessarily listen to a lot of podcasts either outside of like one every like now and then
yeah,
that
I
gets
listened
brought
to
up.
a
But
podcast by two people from New York, and it's super not game related. It's just more personal life stuff. But I mean, that's again, this is way different than the podcast I listen to. I mean, I was part of the Fill the Time podcast um for a while, and by far a while I mean 3 recording sessions and only 1 episode has been
right.
released. So I don't know what the fuck is going on with that one, but now I'm doing my own, so hopefully that lasts longer than 1 episode. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, and I mean it's exciting. Like I'm enjoying it so far. It's one of those things, like I'm at that point in the game where it's like uh I can start to understand the nitty-gritty details and what they mean and how they apply, and
Mhm.
can kind of start to imagine the effects that it will have. Um, and so it gives me like just another thing to kind of be excited for in the game, and these changes. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad
it's
that they're making these changes, especially going into day. I don't think you realize how fucking excited I am for the day one. I mean, you do. I mean, I've said it like every day for the past
yeah,
month how
yeah,
excited I am for the
yeah,
day one. But I mean, this TWAB specifically helps me prep for day one as much as I can.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
this is the
And
information
yeah,
that I need.
like yeah, this is the stuff that I am missing out on compared to a lot of the people that have continued to play the game for so long. Um, so I see this as a way of me kind of elevating myself in that means of like just understanding all of the nitty gritty. So when people are talking about certain things, then I'll be like, oh well, actually I know that. I know what you're
Hmm.
talking about, and then I can kind of formulate my own opinions and my own thoughts about it because I would have an understanding instead of just being like, oh well, that's cool. I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Um, so that is that
And
for this
yeah,
episode. I think we're gonna end it here. We're gonna actually head to orbit and we'll finish out. But we didn't really talk about the goal of this podcast too much. I know I brought it up at the beginning, but my goal and the reason why I wanted to do this is because I want to educate the Destiny community with good habits and make sure that everybody kind of is on the same page for my postmaster's out of space again. Holy shit. Everybody's on the same page when it comes to meta and the way the game works mechanically and how guns interact with certain areas and certain bosses. And so for this episode, well, not unfortunately, but we did start the week of the mid-season weapon refresh TWAB. So that's a very information intensive TWAB. So this was a lot of information going forward. But in the future, we're going to talk about raid strats, and we're going to do like I will get a raid group together, and Pooba and I will be in the voice chat, and we'll do strategies for the video goers. You can see us do them, and for the audio only, I will explain the best I can different strategies for different things in the game, such as all the dungeons that are in the game. I'll give you some solo flawless strats. We'll do some raid strats, master vog strats, grandmaster strats, stuff like that. And we'll just kind of go into the good habits to have for this game, as well as just my general opinion, Pooba's general opinion, Pooba's strats that he can come up with. Damn it, DPS strats is gonna be Pooba's shit. God damn.
yes.
Um, and yeah, I used to be a hunter main. I am now a warlock main. Pooba is a titan main, so we have all of the classes somewhat covered for that kind of thing. And I'm I'm working on networking with some other creators to bring other thoughts forward on how the game works. That's my reason. Ooh, oh, I found one. Found a kinetic or a primary weapon. Ikelos hand cannon rolls. I just rolled a
Yep,
triple tap
yep.
Vorpal. Might want to keep this actually. Well, it's an Ikelos. I don't know. I don't know. That one runs with Vorpal. There we go. It all comes full circle
There you
to
go. There you go.
Jesus. Yeah. Any closing words from you, Pooba?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine there's probably a lot of people out there that are going to be in the same boat as me, where it's like they started playing and then took a little bit of a break, and now they're coming back. Beyond Light saw like a huge kind of resurgence in new and returning players. Um, and I think a lot of people are kind of in that similar situation where they want to start getting into that more end game content, but they're not entirely sure what all of the lingo means, um, what all the changes that are being made are, and what they're referencing. And so going back to my goals, would be to kind of one, help myself gain a better understanding, but two, hopefully people listening to this also can kind of understand that it's all right to kind of not know what's going on. um and hopefully this can kind of shed some light on exactly what's happening, in a little bit more user friendly way, instead of just uh reading off the TWAB word for word. You can kind of put your own spin on it and be like, yeah, uh more like a casual conversation. I feel like it's a little bit easier to listen to and retain that information. um and I think that it's going to be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So stick around.
Yeah. I'm gonna do some plugging real fast. I know that it's God, this dude has fucking social media and he wants us to listen to it. Jesus. But I do stream on Twitch and do raid help and general like gameplay stuff. So if you're interested in swinging through and coming to hang out, I would love to see you guys around and hang out with people. Fuck, that's almost a god roll Cartesian. I can't get one. Haven't been able to get one. But if you're looking for some raid carries or just want to come hang out and talk to me live and swing through, you can just Crusty Lovin on obviously on Twitch. And yeah, that's please come swing through, say hi. I'm always down to do a raid. You can just hang out and redeem a raid carry if you want. You can make me do shots on stream, whatever. And there's a plethora of things you can do. I have all my socials on the Twitch, but go check that out if you want. And obviously for the YouTube listeners, you're already on that platform, so hit the subscribe button, please. Do it. All right, it's free. There's no reason not to. Don't be that guy. Yeah. Fuck it, we did it live, I guess.
Oh yeah, just in time too.
Yeah, literally just in time. And we will, I guess, next Thursday is the TWAB, so we'll do another recording next Thursday, and hopefully I'll upload by Friday.
Yeah, it should be out a little bit faster now that we've got the kinks kind of ironed out.
A handle on things, but yeah, an hour and a half, not too bad. Not too bad at all. All right, I'm getting out of here. I gotta go do some running around. Pooh has to go to work. Thank you all for swinging through. Everybody be safe. Until next week, enjoy your Destiny grind. And we will hopefully have your ears and eyes next week.
All right.
Peace out.
Laters.